Peloton was once unstoppable. Do you remember that? Everybody was buying bikes. They're sweating in their living rooms, high fiving people on a screen, and sending wildly inappropriate names across the scoreboards to see if they can get the instructors to say them. During COVID, Peloton was the thing to have. But then it all crashed. Sales slowed, customers stopped riding, and Peloton found itself pedaling uphill very fast. And now here we are. Peloton is revamping their lineup, raising their prices, and trying to stage a comeback. But here's the lesson from Main Street in all this. Peloton didn't fail because they made bad bikes. They made some of the best equipment out there. They failed because they built a product people bought once, but not a business people came back to. And the headline here is, if your business only makes money when new customers walk through the door, you don't have a business, you have a treadmill. Welcome to the Main Street Playbook, where we turn Wall Street lessons into Main Street wins. Each show, I'll take an article from the business news and break down the lessons that small business owners can use to build a better business. It's a lesson in corporate strategy without the corporate headache or the budget. My name is Harrison Smith, and I am a growth-obsessed entrepreneur and the CEO of Evolution Media Group, a growth marketing agency that prevents small business owners from ever worrying about where their next sale will come from. I will be your tour guide through the lessons that you should steal from the biggest companies in the world. This week, we're going to break down the story of Peloton and what you can learn from their journey of boom to nearly bust to now resurrecting the business. So let's get into it. So let's go back to the beginning. Think back to when Peloton really blew up back in COVID. They had everything going for it. Gyms were closed. People wanted some way to connect. They needed some way to compete or connect with other people. The product was high-end, tech-driven fun. It was all the rage. Peloton gamified exercise and got people moving at a time where they were stuck inside. But when things changed and the world reopened and gyms were open again, habits changed. The excitement of that faded. People were tired of staring at the same four walls. And Peloton didn't adapt to that. They continued to sell the same product with the same features, with the same subscription. And eventually people just got tired of it. They burned out on it. It became too repetitive. So what did they do? They started going back to gyms. They started going for walks, and they returned to their old habits. Peloton didn't offer them something that was sticky enough to keep their attention beyond the time when they really needed an in-home solution. And that's a trap a lot of small business owners fall into. You focus all your energy on getting new clients when the real money is keeping the ones you already have. Because Peloton didn't evolve or change to keep the existing riders engaged. They had this massive installed base of equipment out there, and they kept chasing new customers. And when that stopped, they didn't have anything really exciting to offer the existing customers, so they all just moved on. And one of the lessons baked in here is your next sale is almost always hiding inside your last one. So when you think about it, if you're a small business owner, what is it that's going to bring people back? How are people going to come back to your business? Why are people going to come back to your business? Because your sales cycle may be very long, and you may not have the opportunity to sell to them frequently, but it doesn't mean nothing happens in between. And we'll come back to that thought. So for small business, your version of Peloton's bike might be your main service. You might be a remodeler. You might be doing consulting. It could be a haircut, all sorts of different things. Your service is your primary item, your primary sale. But the question becomes, what happens after that? What is that return path? How do you get them back? Because if you only sell once, you're constantly on the hamster wheel of chasing new business. And the cost of acquiring new customers is always significantly more expensive than just building additional opportunities with the ones you already have. So Peloton's model was buy the bike, buy the subscription, and use it. Stay engaged. The problem, that engagement part really just fell apart. People moved on. They stopped logging in. They went back outside. It was a good solution, but it wasn't a great solution. It wasn't sticky. It didn't keep their attention long enough to maintain that loyalty. People found other options and they moved on to something different. And their Peloton treadmills became clothes hangers or items that just sat in the corner that they thought, man, I really should use that. You know, those bikes and those treadmills did not get the same amount of usage that they got back when they were trapped inside. So for you, you should be thinking about things like maintenance plans, tune-ups, seasonal programs, membership programs. What are ways to keep that customer coming back and loyal to you? So if you are a nail salon, is there some sort of a membership program you can offer where people can join longer term and basically stay in your customer list for long term? If you're a roofer, people only buy a roof every 20 to 30 years. But in between, there's going to be maintenance opportunities, there's going to be cleaning opportunities. What else are you offering, or who are you partnering with in some sort of affiliate arrangement to bring more value to that consumer so you stay with them longer? Because ultimately, when they make the big purchase again, you want them to make it with you. But in the meantime, in between all that, there are opportunities to pick up business along the way. And the headline to this really is one-time sales make you money, but repeat customers will make you wealthy. Repeat customers that come with little to no additional acquisition cost, you already have them. They already like you. They already know you. They already trust the work you do. They are significantly more likely to say, yeah, I'd love to do more things with you. Yes, you installed my roof and I'd love to have you come and do a checkup on it. I'd love to have you come and do some repairs to it. I'd love to have you replace the fascia now instead of just the shingles. I'd love to have you come and clear it in the winter. There are other things you can do along the way. So in your mind, be thinking about, this is my primary service that I sell, but what can I offer in between all that to generate additional revenue and also just continue to work with customers and clients that I've already built a relationship with. We see it especially with hair salons. When you go to check out, you have other options in front of you. You can buy shampoos and conditioners and other hair products that people will come back and buy. So it's just adding one more revenue stream of something you can sell to somebody in between the haircuts or even with the haircuts that allows you to capture more revenue from the same customer and really take your customer acquisition cost and take the return on investment on that and crank it way up. Another thought here. Even if your clients only buy once a year, once every 5 years, once every 10 years, that doesn't mean you want to disappear until then. So this is not about, I sold to you now and I'm going to just vanish and hope that in 5 years when you need me again, or next year, or in 10 years, you call me back. You have to make sure that you stay in front of the customer. Peloton's customers didn't just stop riding all of a sudden. They just got bored and Peloton stopped innovating and offering them something new. Peloton pushed the same solution out from 2020 and then just sat there and hoped people would keep it. There was no real innovation. There was no real change. It was just the same thing day after day after day. And you can't afford to make the sale and then just disappear. You need to be staying in touch. You need to keep showing up, whether that's through email, social media, text messages, even just simple check-ins. And if you are a contractor, it could just be simple as, hey, how's everything in the house? And if maybe they're going to come back and say, oh, I could use this, I could use that, or this is great, everything's fine. But now you're taking that next step to show them, hey, I care about you. I care about the work we've done with you, and I want to make sure you're all set. You need to continue to stay in touch with them. And from there, you will find other opportunities. They will mention to you other things that they need, which gives you an opportunity to say, hey, I can help you. Let me be that source for you, and I can provide additional benefits to you. Because if you're not talking to your past customers, your competitors already are. Your competitors are running ads on social media. Your competitors are mailing out flyers. Your competitors are driving around town and being seen. If you're not showing up at least as frequently as they are, ideally more often, to somebody who you already have an established relationship with, when the time comes, they will have forgotten about you. And they're going to call whoever they see, whoever shows up on the Google search, whoever pops into their Facebook ads. They're going to find somebody else. You've got to stay in front of them. You've got to continue to innovate. You've got to continue to make additional offers to the customer or the client that will get them to keep coming back for more. Another massive mistake Peloton made is they stopped listening. Users were telling them, we want something different. We need different workouts. We need new content. We're tired of the same experience over and over again. We want to do cardio with weight training, but we can't turn the screen to be able to do that. You're not offering enough in that area. We can't make this work to do the full workout that we need. So we've got to go find something else. When the customers were asking for something new, something fresh, Peloton just continued to say, well, keep using what you have, keep using what you have. They made some small changes, but they didn't actually take advantage of the information that was in front of them. The customer was saying exactly what they wanted, and Peloton didn't react to it. So as a small business, you have a massive advantage here over a company as large as Peloton. You have the agility. You have the ability to change things quickly. You have the ability to just call a client and say, hey, what did you love about working with us? What could be better? And you need to be okay with taking negative feedback. You need to be able to take criticism, because that criticism, that feedback that says, I really didn't like this, is your blueprint for your next big win. As you take that feedback and you change and you improve, you will find new ways to make the client happy, which will cause them to come back, but it'll also cause them to tell their friends about you. And now all of a sudden you're picking up referral business solely because you took really good care of that person to begin with. Again, you can continue to go acquire new customers and spend money on ads and spend money trying to do more proactive marketing, or you can just take really good care of the people you already know, get them to come back and get them to tell their friends. And now you've created this raving fan base that's going to tell people about you and drive more people to your business. The best business plan in the world will always lose to the one that listens. It doesn't matter how great your strategy is, how great your product is. If you're not listening to customer feedback like Peloton didn't, you will lose to the company that is. There are companies out there that will listen to the consumer. They will take that feedback. They will offer something better. You may provide better quality work, better prices, a better experience. But if they are getting exactly what they want because that other company listened and provided the exact solution they're looking for, none of that will matter. You will lose to a lesser company because they're actually addressing exactly what the customer needs. One other thing Peloton did get right early on was they built that community. So people felt like they were part of something. They were riding together, they were sharing progress, there were scoreboards, there was energy. You felt like you were part of something. But as that connection faded and people began to drop off, the community got a little bit smaller, loyalty just completely disappeared. You can absolutely recreate that same feeling of community, that same magic through Facebook groups, through your own Facebook interactions with other people, through local events, referral clubs. And you can even just be active on social media with people that you know, engaging with them, checking in on them, commenting on the things they do. People don't leave communities. When you build that sense of community where they feel like they're part of something and they feel like they've got a reason to stick around, they don't leave. They leave the companies that forget them. When they're just a sale and that's it, and they don't hear from you again, that's what causes them to leave. They don't feel like there's anything more than just a transaction. And if you just want to be transactional, that's fine. But you'll always be on that treadmill we mentioned earlier of having to acquire new customers because the ones you had won't come back. Because ultimately, again, people don't leave communities. They don't leave loyal relationships. They leave the companies that forget about them. All right. So Peloton in the article is talking about now overhauling their product line and pricing. They're going to release new products. They're going to make some changes to them. They're going to reprice it. They're going to try to win back customers they lost years ago. The hard part is that's really expensive. It's financially expensive, but it's also taxing on the brand because now you're trying to change who you are and people already think they know who you are. And this causes some confusion in the marketplace. For small businesses, though, you can do this through just kind of small continuous improvement steps. Make little adjustments and keep learning from your customers and always ask, what's the one thing I can do to make this better? That might be a slight upgrade in the product that you use. That might be a change in how you service them. That might be a change in the after sale support. There's always small things you can do to make things better rather than having to tear it all down and rebuild it. There's nothing more expensive than having to go through the process of tearing it all down and rebuilding. Because the issue is, if you don't wait until you're desperate to innovate, you will absolutely spend more time and more money trying to fix that issue than if you just made some small changes along the way. So as you're listening to customers and you're listening to the feedback they give you, you want to make sure you're taking that feedback and doing something with it. You don't have to change everything you do. Just make small iterations, small adjustments, small changes to the process. And as you go and you get better and better and you keep refining, you'll get to a point where you're going to be that best provider. You're going to be that number one provider in your marketplace that people all want to work with and they all want to talk about. Because ultimately, people are going to come back to the companies that take the best care of them. And if you're that company, they're going to come back to you. If you're not that company and you're just running around making sales, you're going to be on that treadmill forever, chasing customers, trying to get that business, but then never building that follow-up where they come back to you. And that is where the wealth is built. That is where the long-term wealth is built, is in that loyal customer base, that loyal client base that continues to come back time and again, sends their friends, sends their families, and tells everybody about you. So before we wrap up for this week, there's a lot of things we can take away in here. But the bottom line about this whole story is that Peloton's story really isn't just about bikes. It really is about business cycles. And many of us small business owners just don't think about business cycles because we're not big enough to see trends. We're not in these massive industries. We are working on Main Street USA, working closely with a small group of clients. And business cycles just don't seem like a thing. But business cycles aren't the same thing as economic cycles. Business cycles are just cycles in your own business, in your own client's experience and journey. Because what happens is your growth slows when your excitement fades. And customers leave when you stop evolving and adapting and adjusting to their needs. So when you get a minute, take a look at your own business this week and ask yourself, do people have a reason to come back? What do I do that makes me so good that people want to come back? What is that path to return to me? And also take a look at, how often do customers come back? How often do clients return? Are they coming back consistently? Are they not coming back at all? Are they coming back sporadically? Take a look at, how often do you see similar faces? And if you've got a really long sales cycle, maybe you don't know yet, but you could also just take the time to say, hey, when was the last time I talked to that past client? When was the last time I made some sort of connection with them to remind them that when they need something, I'm here? Secondly, are you listening to what they're saying? Are you collecting Google reviews? Are you asking them how things went? Are you getting real feedback? Because without that feedback, you don't know how to adjust to provide a better experience or provide a better service or grow your business. You don't know what they're looking for. And as much as we can sit in our offices or our trucks or sit at home thinking about it and we think we've got it all figured out, that feedback from the client or the customer will tell you everything you need to know about how you're doing. And that feedback is so valuable to be able to understand exactly where your business is at, exactly what you need to do, exactly where you need to go to be that number one choice in your marketplace. Because once you reach that level of you're the number one choice, you're the most referred, you're the most reviewed, you're the one that everybody talks about, your business will never need clients ever again. You will have them. You'll have more than you can handle. And that is where your hockey stick growth comes from, when things just explode. And that is what will make you a long-term viable company that becomes a wealth builder, but also a legacy builder, something you could leave to the next generation, something you could sell down the road as your exit plan, because you've now got this base of people that are going to continue to come back and continue to tell people about you. And now your customer acquisition cost is lower, and you've built the perfect setup to just continue to scale and grow. And lastly, are you improving along the way? Or are you making big changes because you're surprised by feedback? Are you taking the time to take that feedback and just make small improvements along the way? Little steps, little bites. You don't have to do it all at once, but take that feedback, make small improvements, and grow yourself to that number one. And that is how you turn a small business into a scalable, sustainable brand. I work with small business owners every day that are new to the marketplace, and they're trying to figure out, how do I create sustainability here? How do I become a viable company long into the future? And really, Peloton's story can show you exactly that. If you found this breakdown to be helpful, please hit subscribe. I post new episodes of the Main Street Playbook a couple times a week. We turn Wall Street lessons into Main Street wins. And if you want to get these insights before they hit YouTube, you can join my free newsletter, The Evolution Way, where I share business growth strategies and real-world examples every week. I'll put links down in the comments. I would love to have you join this community, follow along with us. I work with a lot of different size companies, a lot of small business owners, and we share a lot of great stories, a lot of great tips and tricks. And I think you'd find a lot of value in that. I hope you found this helpful. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. I read all the comments. I'd love to engage. Hope to see you on the next one.